We are going to be showcasing our mock drafts for 2023. No trades, and this is our number 10. This is just 1 through 10. Next Friday we'll do 11 to 20, and then we'll finish up 21 to 31. The reason
32.
why the Dolphins forfeited their pick. There's only 31 picks in this first round of this year's draft. I will begin with the first pick of the draft. Let's play some draft music. The number 1 pick, the Carolina Panthers. They select C.J. Stroud, Ohio State. The Panthers have, you talk about the Jets having quarterback issues, the Panthers are right there next to them. They've cycled through quarterbacks like Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, P.J. Walker, a washed up and returning Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield. Not great quarterbacks, you would say. Now they got Andy Dalton as right now their quarterback 1. They need someone who's very, very good at that quarterback position and can be extremely reliable. We're talking about C.J. Stroud here. His 41 touchdowns, was ranked 2nd last year. And think about how well he did against a dominant defense of Georgia. He threw for 348 yards and 4 touchdowns against the most dominant defense in the NCAA, or was it's in men's football last year. It was an insanely great performance. Now they did lose that game. We saw how Georgia looked against a weird TCU team that put all their energy against Michigan and had nowhere near the same energy they had against Georgia. But he was 8th in big-time throws last year, and the Panthers, they got rid of DJ Moore, replaced him with Adam Thielen, the wide receiver 1 turned wide receiver 2 on the Vikings when Justin Jefferson got there. So CJ Stroud is my number 1 overall pick. Number 2, the Houston Texans select Bryce Young, quarterback of Alabama. We take a look at the Texans here. They are making a lot of moves in free agency. They signed tight end Dalton Schultz, a very, very good tight end for the Dallas Cowboys, safety Jimmy Ward, and defensive lineman Sheldon Rankins. So they're building depth, and they also re-signed Laramie Tunsil to an extension, and now right now he's the highest paid tackle in the NFL, $75 million for 3 years, $50 million fully guaranteed. The Texans could look, I'm not going to say they're a playoff team, they could definitely cause some rumblings in the AFC South. I'll go Bryce Young, number 2, to the Houston Texans. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Anderson, edge rusher, Alabama. He's arguably the best player in this draft, if we're just going big board. Arguably the best player. He was tied for 1st in sacks last year with 13 and 5th in hurries with 42. His first year as a true freshman in 2020 and his sophomore year in 2021, he led the league in pressures. He's an extremely explosive player off the line, and Will Anderson, like I said, could very well be the best player in this draft if we're just going on the big board, not necessarily positional-wise. Number 4, the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think many people are going to agree with this, but maybe you will. I'm taking Will Levis. There's reports coming out already saying that the Colts will be going for Will Levis instead of Lamar Jackson. We talked about that on our show back on, I believe it was Friday, or maybe it was Monday. I think it was Monday, actually. The Colts sent a convoy over to a private practice with Will Levis. So you know that they're already heavily invested in Will Levis. Will Levis has the size of a prototypical quarterback, 6'4", 230 pounds, and he has the highest, he has the strongest arm strength right now, at least ball speed-wise, at 59 miles an hour at the combine. The dude could sling it. He has some accuracy issues. He has some decision-making issues. But I think the way we're going with this, the Colts right now, they're going to get a prototypical quarterback, play it safe with a first-time head coach, and I'm taking Will Levis number 4. Number 5, the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll select edge rusher Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. So the Seahawks are going to address a big problem and a big need with Tyree Wilson at this spot. He's an extremely big and extremely physical 3-down edge defender. And he's going to definitely set the tone on this defense. You actually lost Bobby Wagner for last season, brought him back. You're trying to beef up that defense. You haven't had a great defense for a couple of years now. Tyree Wilson has a extremely rare length when it comes to an edge defender, and his overall strength and power, that puts him definitely in a top 5 position. I think, honestly, we may be looking at maybe a little bit too high, or I guess too low for Tyree Wilson on this list. This extremely powerful playmaker for Tyree Wilson going to the Seahawks. I think this may be a steal for the Seahawks at the number 5 spot. Number 6, the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell select cornerback Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. The Lions were ranked 30th in passing defense last year. We all remember how bad their defense was. Well, what do? You try to beef up that defense with maybe the best cornerback in this draft. Most of the Lions defensive backs last season gave up 100+ passer rating when being targeted at. That's how bad their pass defense was. Gonzalez is an extremely athletic and explosive cornerback. He's 6'1", 196 pounds. I'm not saying he's Sauce Gardner. Does he have a relative size of Sauce Gardner? I believe he does. And also, we take a look at the tape of Christian Gonzalez. He may be the most versatile corner in this draft. He could play press. He could play off man. He could play man coverage. He could play zone. He could play outside. He could play inside. This guy's all over the place. I think the Detroit Lions pick up a great defensive back. At number 7, you see there, Devon Witherspoon, cornerback of Illinois. We're talking about another defense that's not great last year. The Las Vegas Raiders. That's one of their most nagging needs, that and offensive line. Originally, in my mock 0.5, I guess you could call it, I actually had offensive tackle Peter Skoronski from, I believe, Northwestern at this position, but I thought, I'm stupid. Yes, they do need an offensive line, an offensive lineman, but their passing defense was horrible. We take a look at Devon Witherspoon. The pass defense for the Raiders was ranked 29th last year, one above the Detroit Lions. He's a very physical cornerback who is pretty good in coverage, especially against tight ends. He's that type of cornerback that is a big cornerback and can take down these tight ends. He had 14 pass breakups and 3 INTs, and he allowed a passer rating of 25.3 when he was being targeted. 25.3 on a passer rating. That's 0 to 158.3. That is insane. He was the highest graded cornerback by Pro Football Focus at a 92.0, 22 catches on 63 targets, 206 yards given up. Devon Witherspoon, a dominant cornerback. Raiders get a great pickup here. Here's where it gets interesting. Strictly because of the rumors that came out about a certain position the Falcons should have pursued, I'm going number 8, the Atlanta Falcons draft Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. He's the most athletic quarterback in the draft. Who should have the Falcons targeted this offseason? Lamar Jackson. So, go with a cheaper, not saying the same level, but a cheaper alternative of Anthony Richardson. He does have some accuracy issues. In college, he averaged 54.7%, 24 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions as a college quarterback, so there's some concern there. But he barely played in college. In 3 years, he played 22 games. Arthur Smith has now made it a priority on that offense to be a physical, run-first team. So you put that's why people are saying Lamar's a perfect fit for this team. So you get the alternative of an Anthony Richardson there. Think about the running back talent that the Falcons have. They got Cordell Patterson, a great special teams receiver, I guess you can call him. He's a running back receiver. He has a bunch of different positions. You also have Tyler Algier, who I believe was a rookie last year. He did pretty great as a running back. He was like a top 3 rookie running back. You also got Caleb Huntley. They're 3 of the most physical players, at least running back wise, in the NFL. They have everything in place to bring in a type of player like Anthony Richardson and bring him up slowly. Now you might be saying, what about Desmond Ridder? Desmond Ridder doesn't look that great. You want some guy that fits what you're trying to sort of accomplish in the NFL a little bit better, and that's what Anthony Richardson gives you. If you want to be a run-first team, and that's why Lamar, people were saying, go get Lamar, this is why. You want to go out and get Lamar? Do you want to spend $231 million guaranteed, plus the rest of his contract on him? How do you get a guy that will cost, we're talking about $15 million? So go get Anthony Richardson, fits your offense better, and if he doesn't work out early on, you still got Desmond Ridder. You'll sort of be probably, if stuff doesn't work out great with Desmond Ridder and Anthony Richardson isn't ready, you'll get a top 10 pick, adding more talent, adding receivers. So there you go. Number 9 pick, the Chicago Bears select their nagging need, offensive tackle Peter Skoronski, Northwestern. Justin Fields gets his blindside tackle, although there is concern due to the length of Skoronski that they will move him from tackle into guard. Justin Fields was tied for the league lead in sacks. He got sacked 55 times last season. First of all, Justin Fields didn't look great starting out. He averaged like 10 completions a game. But after that Patriots game where he exploded, we saw what Justin Fields could actually look like. The only problem was he had like half a second in the pocket. And then we saw he was going for Lamar Jackson's rushing record as a quarterback. Well, you want him to sort of stay in the pocket and be able to throw without being pressured almost instantaneously. You get maybe arguably the best tackle in the draft, Peter Skoronski at number 9. He's an immediate starter coming out of college. He's not that guy you need to bring up or be number 2 on the depth chart. He could be an immediate starter. The question is, do the Bears trust him enough with his lack of length to put him at a tackle, or will he be the guard? You need someone at that blindside tackle. I think you could put Peter Skoronski at that tackle position, and I think he would excel. And the number 10 pick to wrap up my mock draft 1.0, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle of Georgia. Now, he should not be this low in the top 10. But due to his off-the-field issues, he will start to drop. He will drop. A lot of teams reportedly have already taken him off their board, or at least dropped him on their board. But the Eagles need a replacement for Javon Hargrave. They lost him to the 49ers. If they want a glimpse of that dominant defense, and especially that dominant pass rush, they got, 70 sacks last season? You want to bring in a talent like Jalen Carter. If he didn't have the off-the-field issues, I would replace him with Will Anderson at the number 3 spot. Will Anderson would probably move to number 5. Tyree Wilson would probably drop to number 10. But because of his off-the-field issues, Jalen Carter will drop to number 10. He's an explosive. He's a powerful, and he's unblockable at times. Like, that's how good Jalen Carter could be, except how many teams will trust him to stay on the field and not sort of worry about his off-the-field issues. He hasn't met with any teams outside of the top 10. He's banking on a top 10 team to pick him, and I think he's going to get his wish, but barely get his wish with the Eagles picking him at number 10. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.